Sir, live streaming started, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Venkatakrishnan, let's start now. It's 6 o'clock. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very warm welcome to another unique program. We have been bringing you some outstanding management programs for the last few days in this month, continually engaging you from the time the lockdown was declared. Now, the lockdown is over, the vaccine is there, but still we thought we got used to that connecting with you at your own convenient place. At the same time, all our events have been switched over to hybrid model. Hybrid model, we have really upgraded our auditorium with the state-of-art multiple cameras, very good sound system, so that anybody from any part of the world talking is able to interact with the audience who are present in the auditorium, as well as the audience could also interact with the speakers. So we're able to connect to the world very easily, and we are able to get some outstanding speakers from around the world. So that is one thing which has really, like, pandemic has done a lot of bad. It's done a couple of good, and this is what the good has happened to MMA, is that we could go global, and we also enhance ourselves, adapt to the latest technology, so we can take all the program. We are indeed privileged to co-host this program this evening. During the course of the journey, my journey, that is an inspiring story of Sant road less travel, that is my journey, by Dr. Kamala Viswanathan. It's an autobiography of Giri. Before I will say a few words about Giri, because I met him a couple of occasions in Madras Management Association, let me briefly remind you of what's happening next few days in MMA, so that if you have missed in your inbox, at least you can log in and watch some outstanding program is happening. Now, on the Saturday the 6th, that is the coming Saturday the 6th, we have an interesting event, the fitness habits of successful CEOs. We have outstanding CEOs, and to talk about is Gautam Ahuja, Professor of Management. He is from Johnson Graduate School of Management, Cornell University, USA. He's going to be sharing, because he handled and touched with so many CEOs around the world, and he'll be sharing some of the success stories of successful CEOs, and also two successful CEOs are joining us. One is Nand Kishore. He is now is a professor of Indian School of Business and also a lecturer at London School of Business, and he's also head of Asia, Africa, and of Nestle, Switzerland. He was a former head, retired, and he is now keeping himself engaged. Then we also have Lakshmi Narayan Pandit, founder and chief executive of Pinnacle Leadership and Consulting, and former managing director of SHL India. They are the two speakers. It's happening at 6 p.m. same time. Kindly log in on Saturday 6th. Then on the Wednesday, we have another interesting event. You all know Shiv Shivakumar, called Nokia Shivakumar, later CEO of Pepsi. Now he's head of strategy at Aditya Birla Group. We are discussing on his book of the right choice. He's given 10 things. Is the right choice? He's discussing, and we have again an outstanding panel is happening. Hybrid event at MMA Management Center. You wish to come, please do come. And yes, we accommodate the top 100 people in the 300-seat auditorium. The first come, first served. Please do log in, please do register and watch another lovely event on the 10th. Then on the 16th of Tuesday, we have Shapers of Business Institutions by our own R. Gopalakrishnan. He's talking about 5 successful companies, how they really made the business to the next level. And, RG is always brings out some interesting out-of-box thinking. So please do join us on the 16th of March. Then on the 22nd, we have, again, a very, very interesting event, Mint Your Money. I know this must be of a lot of interest to many of you. And Pranjal Karma is author. You all must have seen him. He's the most popular YouTuber who talks quite a bit on financial management, finances, and he's very, over a couple of millions of followers. So please do come, watch what is this got to share with you, how to mint money. Then we have a lecture on chapters. Then on the 27th, our another flagship event, MMA Women Managers Convention, the new woman of today. We have again a galaxy of speakers, including a Navy commander who is circumvent the globe along with another 6 girls you must have all seen television. He's going to be there. Much more. I don't want to take a lot of time. One last event for this month of March. On the 27th of March, we have a discussion on the theme of the book, the ventilator project. From the time the lockdown was thing, and we had really a shortage of ventilators, few brilliant minds from IIT Kharagpur and Srikant Sastry joined together. Brilliant world-class ventilators is a story which you must listen. This is also a niche of Atmanirbhar, and this is all I want to listen. Coming to today's event, we are indeed privileged, thanks to Mr. Venkatakrishnan and Mr. Shivaraman, giving us the privilege to host this program this evening in Madras Management Association. We are indeed privileged and honored because I met Giri a couple of occasions in MMA, very smiling and so unassuming. When you talk to him, he'll only smile, and his mesmerizing smile still in front of me and all the time. I remember his fondness. When I read the book on Giri, I've often been connected with Giri's event because parents organize 1 or 2 events in MMA. And I could see here is the gentleman, Giri, I know why always we think why God is unkind to us, take away some of the brilliance, and he has been brilliant in every field what he did. And you're going to, I think the book, when you read, is a must read, and we learn a lot of things. We don't feel sad, but we'll get empowered by reading this book. How you can succeed in various aspects, and you should never let your fail to disappoint you. Now, to take you through the entire program, you all know N.S. Shivaraman doesn't need introduction, very popular, and he will take you through the program and keep you engaged all through the event. And we have some outstanding speakers who will be talking to us, including Mr. Seshasayee, who just logged in. Good evening, sir. Welcome to you. And we're all eagerly looking forward to hearing some outstanding speakers this evening. Over to you, Mr. N.S. Shivaraman, to take you through this evening. Mr. Shivaraman.
Thank you, Group Captain Vijay Kumar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. When I think of MMA, what comes to my mind is its benchmark performance. With around 600 programs in a year of 365 days in physical, virtual, and now hybrid formats, no other management association in the world can come anywhere close to MMA. No wonder MMA was recently adjudged the best management association in India for the 11th year in a row. Hearty congratulations to Group Captain Vijay Kumar and his fantastic team. And thank you, Vijay Kumar, for having us today with you and hosting this event. We all have joined here now for the e-launching of the autobiography, During the Course of My Journey. This book, compiled by Dr. Kamala Viswanathan, is the inspiring story of Giridhar. I request his parents, Venkatakrishnan and Lata, directors of Heavenly Fuel Private Limited, to welcome all of you. Over to you, Venkatakrishnan.
Good evening, friends. Thank you, Group Captain Vijay Kumar, for accepting to launch the autobiography during the course of my journey of our late son Giridhar through MMA today. Giridhar was born on this day 29 years ago on 3rd March 1992, and this has always been the day to celebrate in our lives. Although he passed away about 5 years ago, he continues to live and interact with us in our minds. His autobiography, mostly written by him and dictated to our family friend Malini, was completed by our neighbor and author, Dr. Kamala Viswanathan, who never met Giri. This book is not about the pain and the struggle from a disease like multiple sclerosis, but about living gracefully and gratefully. Every child, every family, and many doctors will find many useful takeaways from this book during the course of my journey. It advocates integrated treatment to cure ailments. My wife and I are grateful to Mr. R. Seshasayee, Vice Chairman, Hinduja Group, for writing the foreword and also agreeing to be our chief guest to e-launch the book this evening. We welcome you, sir. Padma Shri Professor Darshan Shankar, Vice Chancellor of the University of Trans-Disciplinary Health Sciences and Technology from Bangalore, read the soft version of the book and wrote a review which is printed in this book. The interesting topic of his speech today is the great combination of Ayurveda and biology. We welcome you, Professor Darshan Shankar. The most precious thing in our lives is good health. We are privileged to have with us today a renowned doctor, Dr. Mahadevan from Darshan Co., to tell us all about health management essentials. We welcome you, doctor. Soon after Giri's passing away on 15th August 2015, we accidentally ran into a diary where he had written that he wanted to create a disease-free world. We took this upon as our only mission in life and have made good progress through our company, Heavenly Fuel Private Limited, and Sri Rajashamla Ayush Vaidyasala in Besant Nagar, Chennai. Fulfilling Giri's mission of providing an integrated solution to patients, we practice Ayurveda, Siddha, Homeopathy, and Varmakalai under one roof. If necessary, we also refer patients to our empaneled allopathy doctors with the primary objective of curing them. We already embarked on conducting primary research to cure ailments like chronic kidney disorder, cardiac health, dryness of the mouth in cancer patients due to radiation therapy, women health, both menstrual health and ovarian reserve, and vertigo predominantly. Some of the medications are manufactured in our GMP approved manufacturing facility and by our associates. All the formulations are being scientifically validated to ascertain the safety and efficacy. The purpose of this meeting today is to request all of you to please buy the book and spread the message of happiness and gratitude. The book is reasonably priced at rupees 299 and is available to buy through Amazon, Flipkart, and the publisher Notion Press. The sale proceeds of the book will go to support the research activities of Giridhar Rehabilitation and Care Endowment, a public charitable trust. We welcome and thank all the participants who are virtually here today and wish you an observing time listening to the eminent speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother Venkatakrishnan and Lata. We are extremely fortunate to receive the message of blessings from His Holiness Pujya Sri Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal of Sri Kanchi Kamakodi Peedam on this occasion. This message came this morning. Giri had veneration for the Acharyas and cherished their darshan. Here is the message for you in Tamil. நமது ஸ்ரீ மடத்தின் பக்தர்களான வெங்கடகிருஷ்ணன் லதா தம்பதியின் குமாரர் கிரிதரின் சுயச்சரிதை புத்தக வெளியீடு மார்ச் மாதம் 3ஆம் தேதி மாலை நடக்க உள்ளது. கிரிதர் தனது இள வயதிலேயே நற்கதி அடைந்து விட்டாலும் 23 வயதிற்குள்ளேயே பல திறமைகளை பெற்றிருந்தார் என்றும், மறைவிற்கு பிறகு ஒரு ட்ரஸ்ட் நிறுவி பல நற்பணிகள் செய்வதுடன் பாரம்பரிய ஆயுர்வேத மருத்துவத்தின் ஆராய்ச்சிகள் செய்து புதிய மருந்துகள் கண்டுபிடிக்க வேண்டும் என்று விருப்பம் தெரிவித்திருந்தார் என்றும் கேள்விப்படுகிறோம். நோயற்ற உலகை உருவாக்க வேண்டும் என்ற ஒரே நோக்கத்துடன் கிரிதர் ரீஹாபிலிட்டேஷன் அண்ட் கேர் என்டோமென்ட் மற்றும் அதன் அங்கமான ஸ்ரீ ராஜசியாமலா ஆயுஷ் வைத்தியசாலா ஆகியவற்றை 2016ஆம் ஆண்டு நிறுவி நல்ல முறையில் நடத்தி வருவதை அறிந்து ஸ்ரீ ஆச்சாரிய சுவாமிகள் சந்தோஷப்படுகிறார்கள். திரு கிரிதர் எழுத ஆரம்பித்த சுயச்சரிதையை அவர் காலத்திற்கு பிறகு பரிசிரமங்கள் எடுத்து சிறந்த முறையில் எழுதி பூர்த்தி செய்துள்ள கமலா விஸ்வநாதன் அவர்களுக்கு ஸ்ரீ ஆச்சாரிய சுவாமிகள் ஆசி வழங்குகிறார்கள். நமது மடத்தின் அத்தியந்த பக்தரான சேஷசாயி அவர்கள் இந்த புத்தகத்திற்கு முன்னுரை எழுதி வெளியிட இருக்கிறார் என்பதில் மிக சந்தோஷம். புத்தக வெளியீட்டு விழா நன்றாக நடக்கவும், கிரிதரின் ஆசைப்படி ட்ரஸ்ட் மூலம் பாரம்பரிய வைத்திய முறையில் தொடர்ந்து நல்ல ஆராய்ச்சிகள் வெளிவரவும் ஸ்ரீ ஆச்சாரிய சுவாமிகள் ஆசீர்வதிக்கிறார்கள். We thank the Mud for this divine message. At 74, she is a phenomenon. She is a professional counselor, a certified hypnotherapist, a prolific writer in Hindi and English. Dr. Kamala Viswanathan has written novels, short stories, and school textbooks in Hindi. She got a doctorate from Madras University and retired as Hindi professor from Stella Maris College, Chennai. Our family is indebted to her for compiling this autobiography, although she never got a chance to meet Giridhar. She has written this book as though she knew Giridhar intimately for many years. Over to you, Dr. Kamala Viswanathan, to talk about your own book. Dr. Kamala Viswanathan.
Thank you, Mr. Shivaraman. Good evening to one and all. I consider it to be a great privilege to address such a big gathering on this day of release of my book, Autobiography of Giri. In fact, it is very wrong to call it my book because this is not my book. This is Giri's book. Word to word, whole book was dictated by him. I think somewhere we had some soul connection. That is the reason the book has come out the way he wanted it. This is an autobiography of a miraculous youngster who suffered with a serious disease called multiple sclerosis. He fought with the disease so bravely till the end with a smile on his lips. This autobiography also reflects on the courage, compassion, and strength of a lovely couple who fought bravely to make him happy and cheerful. They fought all the odds to bring him back to good health and never complain. I know you would have understood. This is about Mr. Venkatakrishnan and Lata, the parents of Giri. As the corporate advisor, Mr. Seshasayee says in his foreword, it is perhaps an irony of nature that people who have little complain about their blessings, complain the most, and those who have little to count as blessings seem so much stoic. Giri's strength was defined not only by ambition and effort, but kindness and gentleness. He spent most of his time trying to explain how he could make his existence on earth meaningful. Giri, as the name signifies, was like a mountain. He had so much mental strength, he achieved so much in his short life that his 23 years on earth is raw in the minds of all those people who know him well. Giri's parents wanted him to grow up into an extraordinary human being. No doubt, he was an extraordinary human being. And coupled with that, his ability to focus on whatever he did make him good at many things. He was good in Carnatic music, table tennis, skating, and chess too. He was the best in all the above fields. When he became 16, he developed a keen interest in shares. He had a great passion for it and he looked after his father's portfolios. From the young age of 12 itself, he had some interest in shares. He says, I am 1 year late when compared to the legend Warren Buffett USA, who started at the age of 11. He spent considerable time reading economic times to get a fair idea about the market. He would regularly watch CNBC channel and watch NDTV too. He would go through the balance sheets of various companies to know whether it was worth investing in their shares. He believed that society should shift to organic food to avoid health problems. With his knowledge and business acumen, he formed a new company called Heavenly Fuel Private Limited in 2012. He founded this company to offer pure and pristine products encompassing healthcare, nutritional care, personal care, and home care. His message written in his journal was, I am unique, so I must make it big and make an impact in everyone's life. He joined Ananta Consulting to give soft skill training to corporates. People who attended were 2 to 3 times older than him. What a great achievement. Giri's father feels that Giri was a prodigy. He was good at many things, but can't say that he was good in all the things. His IQ at one of his schools was highest ever recorded there, way above genius level, but his marks were often indifferent. He believed that getting 100% marks is not important, but it is important that you enjoy reading and write what you have understood. He was very much against mugging. He was very good at swimming too. His teacher appreciated him for his backstrokes. Giri's generosity. He was so good in giving away everything to all the people. His dream was that people who work with him should be earning 1 lakh rupees per month. His affectionateness and amiability concealed a considerable sturdiness of character. Everyone loved him. There was absolutely no trace in him of malice or acquisitiveness. It was almost impossible to make him lose his temper. During the whole course of his illness and the frightful demands it made on him, he never uttered a word of protest or complaint. Around the age of 11 in 2003, he started developing symptoms of a disease when he started losing his vision suddenly. A few years later, the diagnosis that he was suffering from a dreadful disease called multiple sclerosis was a great shock to everyone. When he came to know about this, he maintained his calm and took a conscious decision that he would not continue with allopathic drugs because of its side effects and no guarantee of complete cure. Then he took Ayurveda treatment, which cured him to a great extent. At the age of 16, he was selected by Rotary Districts 3230 for his prestigious semester at sea program. He was to portray India best and be India's ambassador. He grabbed the opportunity and made the best use of it for gaining knowledge and creating more friends. He enjoyed it thoroughly. A robust, intelligent, and independent young man who was a business management student and a prolific speaker a few years ago, was now confined to a wheelchair and watching things about himself that most of us take for granted gradually slipping away. But he manifested his faith in divine through his attitude and behavior. What a gallant soul and what an unfulfilled promise. A gallant spirit like his cannot be destroyed by a defect in the body. Thinking of stubborn refusal to accept defeat makes me believe that his spirit will live on. It was his courage, the indomitable quality of his simple, unquestioning courage that I hope people will remember. But it makes us glad that he died so peacefully and resolutely. If he had to live at all, he would have probably become blind in a short time. And perhaps he would have lost his ability to associate with others. He had the most brilliant promise of any child I have ever known. Giri says, if you want to carry my legacy forward, create a disease-free world and always think big. Always remember that a sincere good wish becomes a command to the universe, which will definitely make it happen. As a social entrepreneur, he initiated projects that focused on solving society's problem. He perceived that in future, spirituality in business is going to be one of hopeful signs that business as the most powerful institution may be transforming from within. He was here on earth on a mission as a spiritual master. That mission has just begun. Giri continues to live after his demise when his vision of disease-free world is being translated into action by Giridhar Rehabilitation and Care Endowment and Sri Raja Shamla Ayush Vaidyashala. Giri's message to parents is each child is unique. Treat him or her that way. To children, treat your parents with love and care. To adults, earning money is not bad, but accumulating money is not good. To doctors, prime duty of the doctor is to cure the patient. He appeals to the doctors. Allopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha and homeopathy doctors should join together under one roof and offer the best cure to the patients because the patients are more important than anything else. After his death on 15th August 2015, his parents are doing a lot to fulfill his mission. To commemorate and spread his noble mission of a disease-free world, the parents, along with the team, organized Giridhar Memorial Lecture, inviting eminent doctors to address the gathering. Now, my humble request to you all is to buy this book in large numbers. An enormous amount of testing and research has to be done to invent a complete cure for such a dreadful disease by a combination of different medical systems. The sale proceeds of the book would go to support the research activities of the public charitable trust. Now, to sum up the whole life of Giri, I have written a short poem, which I would like to read it here. Adorned with curly locks, winning everyone's hearts, strong as the proverbial mountain, a handsome lad was Giri. Apple of his parents' eyes, ever smiling with the gift of making everyone laugh, constantly surrounded by friends, everyone's well-wisher was Giri. Mischievous and playful from the very childhood, teasing and keeping everyone on the run, humorous every moment and fun every minute. A positive transformer of the air was Giri. Be it a game of chess, cricket or tennis, never experiencing loss, never cheating his opponent, always emerging the winner was Giri. Lover of classical Carnatic music, always endowed with positive thinking, smiling even when wrecked with pain. This is how we knew Giri. Attached to his mother and father, flooding their lives with happiness, spreading divinity all around. Spiritually aligned was Giri. Aiming to run with Tatas and Birlas, illness, however, consuming his life. Revealing even in his passing away, ways to rise above was Giri. Showing the road ahead for people, unraveling the recipe to cure the sick in Ayurveda, Siddha, homeopathy and allopathy, thus teaching a holistic healing process was Giri. Inspiring Venkatakrishnan and Lata to create a disease-free world, remaining with them eternally to script a new joyous direction was Giri. And that just about covers it all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kamala Viswanathan. Mr. R. Seshasayee is an icon par excellence. He is a chartered accountant and started his career in 1971 in Hindustan Lever. Over the years, he has held numerous senior management positions in industry and professional bodies. He was the managing director of Ashok Leyland from 1998 to 2011, during which period everything multiplied. Turnover 5 times, net profit 30 times, and market cap 14 times. He is currently vice chairman of the Hinduja group. Seshasayee is also the chairman of the executive committee of Kriya University, chairman of the executive council of the Cancer Institute, president of the Schizophrenia Research Foundation, SCARF, and vice president of the Music Academy, Chennai. During the Giridhar Memorial Lecture on his death anniversary on 15th of August 2020, where Mr. Seshasayee spoke, we had committed to the participants that the autobiography of Giri will be published soon. That moment has now arrived as committed. We shall now have a curtain riser by MMA. I now request Mr. Seshasayee to officially launch the book, which will be virtually received by Professor Darshan Shankar in Bangalore, and then speak about his impressions about Giri. Over to you, Mr. Seshasayee.
Thank you. A great pleasure in releasing the autobiography of Giri. Thank you. Good evening to everyone. When I read this book, I felt a sense of elevation. Different people have different sources of inspiration and feel elevated in different ways. I know some people listen to great music and have a sense of this exaltation. I know one of my friends had a moment of spiritual experience when he was listening to M.S. Subbulakshmi's music. I know people who would have the sense of completely getting freed from the shackles of this world and getting connected with something much, much bigger when they are at the feet and listening to their spiritual gurus. I know even people who would feel a sense of exaltation if they solved a problem in mathematics or physics. There are different sources of inspiration, sources of getting people connected with the, if I may say, the Supreme Being in some moments, some seconds. And I'm fortunate to have this kind of experience of exaltation from a variety of sources. And I must say, and I say this very sincerely, that when I went through this wonderful book, I felt truly exalted. And I was thinking as to what caused this feeling. Why did I feel so different when I read this book? In the normal course, he was a young man who became a victim to a dreadful disease and whose life was snuffed out at a very young age. That must evoke a sense of pathos, sense of sympathy. But frankly, I didn't feel that. I felt very positive when I read this book. And as I said, I felt this sense of exaltation. And then two things stood out to me as the reason why I had this experience. The first thing is the strong sense of courage that comes out from his life. The courage to confront a major challenge in life. Not often people have the sense of courage when they're faced with life-threatening issues, when they're faced with major challenges in life. Dr. Kamala Viswanathan so kindly referred to what I said in the foreword about the fact that I've always found this ironic that people who are very blessed, who have nothing to complain about, end up complaining a lot. It might be small things, it might be something to do with the weather or something to do with the servants not listening to them, all kinds of little things. They get consumed by this kind of issues. And on the other hand, I found the people who have major challenges in life, their life would be very, very different to the rest of humanity. And yet, they have an indomitable spirit. They have a sense of deep courage to be able to confront those. And Giri was one such. I think that's the spirit of courage that appealed to me. I had this privilege of hosting some 20 years ago a wonderful person who was a gold medalist, an Olympic gold medalist in Winter Olympics from Australia. In a freak accident in the mountains, he was paralyzed neck down. And he had come to Chennai after this accident. And I had the pleasure of hosting him here. What he said at that point of time has stuck in my mind. He said, I had lost everything, all feelings below my neck. But by some curious accident, I could move 2 fingers, but that was all. And then in the hospital bed, I started writing down all that I can do. I could see, I could read books, I could listen to music, I could sing, I could give speeches. And he said, I wrote down all that I can do and made a list of 145 things that I'm capable of doing. I can be a brilliant speaker and I don't need my limbs for that. I just need my brains. And he said, if I could do 145 things and if I can do this expertly, why would I complain? That was the kind of spirit that elevated me. Because as I said, we often don't look at the blessings. We don't look at what we have and we fret over what we don't have. We whine and moan about things that we don't have. And in that process, in the short life that all of us are blessed with, we forget to enjoy what we are blessed with and what we have. And I think it is that sense of courage that I saw in Giridhar. It was truly elevating. I've known others. I know of Mr. Ramakrishnan, a good friend of mine, who runs the Amar Seva Sangam in Ayakudi. Again, through a freak accident that he became paralyzed neck down. And he has built a beautiful institution through which thousands of people who have been physically, mentally challenged have gone through the portals and have seen joy of life. And I know of Preeti Srinivasan, who again, by a freak accident, was completely paralyzed. And she is now building a hospital for people who have lost the use of their limbs. So people like Giridhar, people like all those that I have mentioned, are the people who make you believe that what is required is a spirit of positivity to look at what we have and make the best use of what we have. And that spirit of courage and of being joyful, that strikes you. That's what is truly elevating. The second thing that I found popping out of Giridhar's life is the fact that he found a purpose for his life. All of us have purpose. All of us, without being conscious of it, go through in the flow of life, defining our own purpose. For some of us, it might just be the purpose of getting our own life in order, getting a job, or getting married, or getting children, or getting a house, or whatever. To others, it might go beyond that and then might envelop a family, a small community of friends and relatives. And to others, it might go beyond that to impact the society, their purpose in terms of moving the needle, in terms of the progress of humankind in some form. We all discover purposes through a variety of incidents or experiences that we have. But it is the fact that we've had over these several millennia, people who have thought beyond themselves, beyond their immediate life, beyond their immediate family, who have thought of doing something to move the needle for the progress of the mankind. And that is the collective movement of these people which have resulted in all that we live in today. If you're having a Zoom call today, think of these several lakhs of people from the dawn of civilization who have thought about all those things which have made this possible today. The science and technology, the corpus of science and technology, the corpus of thinking that have gone to make this happen over the millennia, because people somehow thought that this was necessary to be done, not for myself, not because I want to have a good meal today, not because I just want to enjoy my life today, but something going beyond that. And that purpose of life has enabled us to enjoy the life as we do today. And Giridhar found his purpose of life from moving from what he wanted to be. He wanted to be a stockbroker, he wanted to be a musician, he wanted to be an investor, he wanted to create wealth. And suddenly there was this leap that happens in some people's lives from moving from just oneself and transcend the self to go to impact a society, think about the society, think about the mankind at large. Sometimes this happens very late in life, but to Giridhar it happened early. The fact that he thought about the disease-free world, going much beyond his own immediate problems of life, not even going even beyond his own immediate targets for his life, to think of the world and to say that, in fact, he makes a wonderful statement in the course of his writings in his diary, that he thinks that I feel that I've been sent into this world to touch the lives of people and to heal them. Think of a lad in his 20s thinking of the purpose of his life in this profound manner. How many of us can say that we have a similar kind of experience or a similar kind of feeling towards the rest of the society, rest of mankind? That is what is truly elevating. So these are the moments when you experience the life of someone who goes much beyond himself and looks at the larger issues relating to mankind and dreams. That's when you feel that that's truly elevating. And this is the reason why I found this book very positive and adding value and making a difference to your own thinking about your own life. And that is truly elevating. His dream of disease-free world might sound esoteric, but to me, it's got different components. It's a disease-free world that he envisions not tomorrow, not in Monday morning, but he envisions this maybe in several centuries. But he believes that we ought to move the way that the scientists and the technologists moved the needle to bring us to this position of enjoying the fruits of their discoveries. He believes that we must move the needle in that direction. And that's what his wonderful parents have set out to do. And I must salute you, sir, the parents, for the courage with which you have taken up this, the commitment with which you have taken up the task of moving forward to realize this dream. I would also want to express my very sincere appreciation to the author, Dr. Kamala Viswanathan. It's not easy to bring the spirit of a person that you have not met. But reading this book, you feel that you know him, that you are someone who's close to him. I think she has managed to bring out the spirit and my deep sense of appreciation for the excellent effort that she has put in. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity and to know of Giridhar and to be inspired by it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Seshasayee, for your very inspiring speech today. When you talked about people whining or not being happy about what they have, I was reminded of something similar, that the value of something in life, people realize only after that thing is gone and it is too late. And I think the message that you gave all of us today evening, that you need to count your blessings rather than forgetting to see what is in front of you at this point of time, because tomorrow it may be too late, be it children going abroad for studies or children getting married and going away. So start enjoying with whatever you have today. Has been a great message, and we are very grateful to you for taking time to read the book, write the foreword, and also speaking to us and launching the book. Thank you, Mr. Seshasayee. Thank you very much. Professor Padma Shri Professor Darshan Shankar is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Trans-Disciplinary Health Sciences and Technology, Bangalore. He is also the founder, trustee of FRLHT, the Foundation of Revitalization of Local Health Traditions. Under his able leadership, these two organizations are doing pioneering work to protect and grow medicinal plants and make them available to the needy. I now invite Professor Darshan Shankar to talk about their activities and also the great combination of Ayurveda and biology. Professor Darshan Shankar.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I was indeed impressed by the deep thoughts of the previous two speakers, the author Kamala and Mr. Seshasayee. It is indeed a privilege to speak on an MMA platform, given its illustrious background of competence, about a young prodigy, Giri, whose life and qualities can inspire not only young people, but people of any age. Undaunted spirit, decisive, focused, scrupulously honest in thought, word, and deed, person with love of nature, flowers, a seeker of knowledge, music, analytics, person who liked to be happy and see everyone around happy. I understand that Giridhar had enormous faith in Indian systems of healthcare and also valued innovation. I guess this is the reason for inviting me to talk on Ayurveda and biology, and I'm grateful to the family for giving me this honor and opportunity. Let me start by asserting that Ayurveda is indeed contemporary despite its antiquity. This is evident in the flourishing industry. Dabur, Himalaya, etc. are examples. The phenomenal growth in its health services, the segment of health services are growing at around 20% per year. There are 4,000 licensed practitioners. And today, one sees bright minds who have qualified by this national competitive NEET examination, also opting as a first choice for Ayurveda. I mean, you don't see many of such people, but you are seeing this. We have been looking at that data. Indian knowledge systems possess three planes of expression, what we call tattvas, shastra, and vyavhar. The tattvas, or the principles, are said to be shashvat, timeless. And the reason why tattvas are believed to be shashvat is because these principles are derived from what one might call a oneness relationship with nature. Not many cultures possess shashvat traditions. It is perhaps Sankhya and the Yoga Shastra. Sankhya, which tells us about the relationship between the observer and the observed, and the Yoga Shastra, which really makes you experience that relationship between observer and observed, or makes you experience the oneness, that empowers minds, that has empowered minds in this country to discover Shashvat principles. Shastras, the second level of the knowledge system. Shastra comes from the word shasan, rules, regulations, laws. These change, but change slowly. Vyavhar, which is the application of the tattva and shastra, must change with time, because this level of the knowledge system is entirely temporal. Ayurveda biology, this combination, is the 21st century Vyavhar level of Ayurveda. The tattvas and shastras remain, but Vyavhar must adapt and use modern biology for wider global acceptance and understanding. It is really the way to take Ayurveda to the world. The association with biology and Ayurveda is natural because Ayurveda is the Sanskrit word for biological change. Ayu, life. Veda, the process of change. The etymology of the word Ayurveda is not simply knowledge of life, it is knowledge of change taking place in life processes, which is exactly what biology is also about. Their combination of Ayurveda and biology is the combination between the whole and the part. And therefore, this combination completes our understanding of change. Their difference lies in the fact that Ayurveda looks at biological change at a systemic level, at a whole level, whereas biology looks at the same phenomena from a molecular perspective of biological change. And therefore, the combination is very powerful. Ayurveda biology holds 4 major promises for making original contributions to global health. Firstly, it can contribute to new classification of diseases. Now, I won't elaborate too much on this, but if this combination of Ayurveda and biology leads to a new classification of disease, it is indeed a very, very important contribution. The second area is it can lead to a new theory of disease progression or pathogenesis, because in Ayurveda, we have the understanding of disease progression in terms of 6 stages, what is called Shad Kriya Kal. In modern biology, we know a healthy cell, we know a disease cell, but we don't know how a healthy cell transforms into a disease cell. We don't know that whole pattern. And here you have a theory which is used by clinicians of Shad Kriya Kal. We can know 6 stages before, what is going to happen 6 stages later. So a new theory of pathogenesis. We also have a third very important promise of what I would call as formulation drug discovery. You see, till now we were looking at single molecules for single targets. That's what most modern drugs are about. They are single molecules for single targets. Today we know at the frontiers of biology that every condition is multifactorial, and therefore you need to do multi-targeting. You cannot work with single molecules for single targets. You need biological platforms, what we call the multi-omics platforms, to unfold the value of Ayurveda formulations. And Ayurveda is sitting on around 400,000, 4 lakh, herbal formulations, all of which are multifactorial, multi-target. So we'll open a whole new program in drug discovery through this approach. And finally, a fourth important area is personalized food. We can look forward in the near future to an Ahar card. We know the Aadhaar card, an Ahar card for millions of people, for every individual, and personalized medicine. Now, these are only 4 major promises that I have listed as possible original contributions to global health. There are many other promises. The university, the Trans-Disciplinary University, is committed to training a cadre of physicians and scientists in Ayurveda biology. In fact, in this year, in July 2021, we propose to start in the university a master's program on Ayurveda biology. The university already possesses the necessary infrastructure of a 100-bed hospital that was supported by Mr. Ratan Tata and the Tata Trusts, and biology laboratories for executing this program. I must inform the Madras Management Association team that any university needs 2 resources, what one would call Saraswati and Lakshmi. Since I am speaking to a group of resourceful people, I may inform those with interest, ability, and means to help that the university does need seed support for this public interest project, which I believe will shape the evolution of health sciences in the 21st century. My contact details are available with the organizers of this program. Thank you once again for this opportunity. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Professor Darshan Shankar, and we wish you success in all your future endeavors. When you are speaking today, Professor Darshan, if you take D as the alphabet for disease, and if you take away the D from Adar, it becomes an Ahar. So we want to wish you good luck in making sure that the Ahar card also is in the hands of all the Indians with very customized food plans or whatever that you have dreamt about and what you are very happy about to introduce. Thank you very much for speaking to us. The most precious thing in our lives is good health. Maintaining good health is mostly in our hands. Instead of getting into problems due to incorrect habits, let us all strive to maintain good health. We have with us today the best doctor who can talk to us about this important topic. Dr. Mahadevan from Darshan & Co. is a renowned Ayurvedic doctor who is also equally proficient in allopathy. He believes in integrated cure. He is teaching, practicing, and documenting clinical cases. His Ayurvedic Gurukulam looks after all the needs of 19 students. He has shared his wealth of knowledge by writing, believe me, 72 books, 43 of them in Tamil and 29 in English. We are all eager to listen to your valuable advice to live a healthy life. Over to you, Dr. Mahadevan. There we can see Dr. Mahadevan with the earlier president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Over to you, Dr. Mahadevan, please.
Namaskaram to one and all. I remember the days when I treated Giri. It was in 23/3/2009. I met him with some difficulties. We became friends and I understood his prakriti, nature. Atmanaha rakshartam jagat hidayaja. He was considered about jagat hidayaja. And he was very friendly. He concerned about the welfare of other people, thinking other people first. We became very close friends. He recovered from the illness. There was remission. He's a great soul and he had a vision. We always remember him. Now coming to the subject, Ayurveda for well-being. It is an honor to talk in front of all of you and especially Darshan Shankar ji. Health is not just the absence of disease. Swastha, health in Sanskrit is called Swastha, Arogya. Arogasya bhavaha. Swastha is the balance of three doshas in the body. Three doshas are the functional units of living beings. We call Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, nucleus, protoplasm, and mitochondria. In the body, in the Ayurvedic sense, we call them as Tridoshas. So, balance of these factors is health, samyam. So you should be healthy, physically healthy, biochemically healthy, intellectually healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy. Man has been subjected to suffer from 3 diseases: mental diseases, physical diseases, spiritual ignorance. Adi Devigam, Adi Bodhigam, and Adhyatmigam. And Ayurveda is the only science, Siddha also, address the 3 aspects of disease. The Dhairya Atmadi Vijnanam, Manodosha Ushadam Param. For Manodosham, Atmadi Vijnanam, Atma Jnanam, Sayeva Idam Brahma, Atma Eva Idam Brahma, Agam Eva Idam Brahma. It removes the Vedantic perspective, is described as a remedy. Samadosha Samaknisha Samadad Malakriyaha Prasanna Atmendriya Manaha Swasthaitya Vidiyade. Vadapitta Kapha should be in balance. The digestive fire should be in balance. Bodily tissue should be functioning properly. There should be elimination of waste products. The sense organs should be functioning properly. And you should be happy. And you should have the enthusiasm to live. Ayuhu is life. Ayuhu Jividam Uchyade. Ayuhu is Jividam. Sharira Indriya Sattvatma Samyogadari Jividam. Jividam is body, combination of body, sense organs, mind, soul. This is the system which is called as Veda. It is a system that helps the people to live long, healthy, well-balanced life. The very oldest system, it is written in Sanskrit. Ayurveda has got 2 objectives. Swasthasya swastha rakshanam. If you are healthy, how can you maintain your health? There are certain ways of doing that. Aturasya vikara prasamanam. Already you have a disease. How to overcome the disease? Pindam and Brahmandam. You are the microcosm is the Pindam and the macrocosm is the Brahmandam. Thirumolar says, Andathil irupadu Pindam, Pindathil irupadu Andam, Andamum, Pindamum, Ondru. There is a rhythmic relationship between Andam and Pindam, which is separated by this body, which is called Ubadi. So, body is made up of Panchamahabhutas, 5 great elements. Akasham, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. Akashad, Vayu, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi. Tasmad, Voshadeha, Voshadebhyo Annam. Annam, Adyade, idi Annam. The food was only from vegetables. Voshadebhyo Annam. Voshadi means steady godigal. Akasham, they say there is a problem. Ozone layer, there is a leak. Vayu, you get airborne disease. Water, you have waterborne disease. Earth, you have cancers, bananas, they put fertilizers and pesticides. In my village in Darshan, when I started my practice, I did not see a single cancer case. Now I am treating 19 cancer cases. But the Agni fire is very important. That is the central theme. Our karma starts with Agni and ends with Agni. Yadaveda se sunavam asoma maradi yadonetaga divetaga. Woman is Agni. Ambal is Agni. The central part is Agni. Angiyade urdham tachati the Agni. Agni takes you upwards. Agni, whenever you put waste products, especially in bogi, Agni burns everything and remains unpolluted. And once you touch Agni, the punishment is same. Once another person touches Agni, the punishment is same. Agni is Dharmavan. So our karma depends on the Agni, digestion depends on Agni. In West, eating is a social act. In East, eating is a spiritual act. So Agni should be protected. we have to protect the Agni. Then Agni will protect you. There are methods of taking food. You should chew it properly. Idayil, kudiyel, kadayil, maravel. You should drink water. At the end, one part for solid, one part for liquid, one part for vayu. You should keep Trivida Kutshiyam. We'll talk about food. Aharam, Nidra, and Abrahmacharyam are the three pillars of life. Food, sleep, and streamlined sexual relationship. Ayurveda does not object non-vegetarianism and sexual life because it is for health. Health is very much needed to do dharmartha kama mokshanam arogyam moola karanam. Then you can attain self-realization or self-actualization. Aharam should have prana shakti. So we give ahuti to the Agni. Pranaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, brahmane swaha. Annam is Brahman. We should have 6 tastes in the food. Some people do not take bitter and astringent. That must be corrected because they pacify unwanted pitta in the body. Pay attention to the calls of nature. Bath before the food. Sit in an isolated area. Face the direction of sun. Pray and thank nature for giving you food. Feed others. Bhuyajnam, annadhanam. Eating is a yajna. You are giving food to the Bhagavan. Agam Viswanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamasrida. Prana Apana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidam. Gita says. Concentrate and eat. Most of the diseases are produced by overeating and starvation. People overeat and they get central adiposity, fatty liver, PCOD, hypothyroidism, metabolic syndrome, and all of these conditions. Avoid watching TV. TV is a big nuisance. And avoid conversations while eating. Approach each item with reverence. Love and chew it. If you eat idli, tell idli, I love you. Chew it and then eat it. Eat sweet first. In Indian culture, parupu, sadam, nei comes in first. Then rasam, puliseri comes in the middle. More comes in the end. If you belong to a Christian religion or another religion, you cannot change this order because this order has been given to you based on Panchabhuta Siddhanta and Pratosha Siddhanta. Eat Satmya Agara, accustomed food. The food should be warm. There are Sattvic food, Rajasic food, and Tamasic food which are very well described in Bhagavad Gita. Sattvic food, ghee, vegetables. Rajasic foods, Kadu Amala, Lavana Ushna, Agaraha, Prayasaga, Rajasasreshta, spices, food, all pickles and other things. Cold food. Tamasic food should be avoided. Rhythm. Many people worried about cholesterol. Lot of memory problems are produced because of abuse of statins and avoiding ghee in the diet. I get lot of stroke cases. Most of the cases, uncontrolled diabetes and smoking. Anything which is fat soluble alone can cross blood-brain barrier. Ghee is one among that. Gridam pitva madhuchara gavyam pipeva putram. Veda says you believe in Veda. When Veda says you have to take ghee, you don't take ghee. Ghee is intelligence by ghee. Buddhi vardhanam. Vallarai nai. Vallarai vella. Vallarai unga. This body has to be protected. Jandunam naradharma durlabam. உடம்பினை முன்னம் இழுக்கென்றிருந்தேன் உடம்பினுக்குள்ளே ஒருபொருள் கண்டேன் உடம்பினுள்ளே உத்தமன் கோவில் கொண்டான் என்று உடம்பினை யான் இருந்து ஓம்புகின்றேனே. திருமூலர். Kshetram kshetrajnamevach. Kshetram. The body is a temple. The spinal cord is our Kodimaram. Every organ is a Devata. Chandrama, Manaso, Jataka. Manas is Chandran. Then qualities of ghee should be taken. Sakram, buttermilk should be taken. Buttermilk is useful in edema, piles, malabsorption, irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome, modern medicine, they suffer to treat. Karivepalai with buttermilk is very good with Vendayam. Stress-induced colon, constipation and diarrhea, they come and go. Annasya grahanat grahani mataha. Sashti pitadara kalanam. So the Gragani is in the middle part, the Agni is in the middle part. Rama Tapvasya Madhyastam Panjamaha Bhudatmakate Abhi Tejo Guna Utkarshad Tabhisa Soma Gunad Tektas Dravasabhavad Sakakari Karanai Vayur Kledadivir Dagana Pachana Digriyaga Labdam Agni Saptam Pittam Mannam Patadi Saragittagi Bivadadi Seshani Chapittastanani Tatrastameva Anugrahanat. Agni gives anugraham. It is by the Agni we live. Vada needs 8 hours of sleeping, Pitta 7 hours, Kapha 6 hours or less. But the opposite way they sleep. They go by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock and get up by 9 o'clock. Exercise is very important. Until sweat appears in the forehead, you should do your exercise. You cannot appoint somebody for doing exercise. You have to do your exercise. So you have Dinacharya, daily regime, Ratricharya, Ruducharya, Rudu, Anusara Sodhana. There are various detoxification programs in Ayurveda. So in order to maintain health, you should be careful about diet. You should be careful about sleep. You should have restricted and regulated sexual life. And periodic detoxification is done. Vomiting, purgation, nasal application, enemas, bloodletting. These procedures are called Panchakarma. In all spas and everywhere you could have seen these photos. But you should go to a genuine person, genuine institution. Family Fuels, Rajashamala Vaidisala, where I am a consultant. My trained Shishya Dr. Aishwarya is working there. Venkatakrishnan sir and Ladamma are taking care of us very well. When Giri was there, Giri used to invite me to his house and he gives food, dinner. We used to take dinner, North Indian food, South Indian food. Giri was very particular that I should eat well. Till I go to Venkatakrishnan sir's house. And Vamanam is for Kapha, Virejanam is for Pitta, Vasti is for Vayu. Oil massage, Chani Neeradu. You should apply in the head, you should apply in the navel region, you should apply in the feet. You should apply from top to bottom, wait for 20 minutes, take warm water bath, take Rasanjadam in the afternoon, don't sleep in the afternoon. Night you take a mild purgation, the toxins will be cleaned and detoxicated. Then after that you have all rasayanas like Shamanaprasam, Agastya Rasayanam, Triphala, Kadukkai, Nellikai, Tanikai, Amalaki, Vayasthabanam, youth promoting Rasayanam, Brahmi for brain, Vidangam for worms, Kadira for Kushtam, skin diseases. The doctor will advise you what you have to take. Purve Vayase Madhyava, Astihi Jayade, Vardade, Viparinamade, Upashiyade, Nashyadi. Astihi, the Garbham takes place. Jayade, burn, you burn out. Upajiyade, Viparinamade, change. Upajiyade, deteriorate. Nashyadi. You have 2 words for body. One is Shariram and another one is Degam. Shiryade iti shariram. That which is constantly destroyed is called shariram. Take the pradikshanam upajiyate bhuktarasena iti degaha. That which constantly grows is called degam. One is anabolism, another one is catabolism, which is metabolism. Metabolism depends on Agni, your digestive fire. You do Agni Upasana, protect the fire, protect your Agni. Once Agni is protected, Shante Agno Miryade Yukte Chiranjivitva Anamayaga Rogisyad Vigride Moolam Tasmad Agnim Nirishade. If you protect your Agni, digestive fire, your immunity will be protected, your life will be protected, you will be free from disease. During the corona period, I have treated so many cases. Due to God's grace, we did not get corona, mild to moderate cases. Now I am getting a lot of complications of corona, post-corona neuropathy, thrombosis. We are treating, admitting all these cases with Ayurvedic principles and modern diagnosis. The results are amazing. Now we have Ayurvedic doctors, Ayurvedic teachers, Ayurvedic textbooks, but we need good Ayurvedic medicines in order to solve the problem. Ladama and Venkateshan sir started Heavenly Fuel and they are giving wonderful medicines. I am using it and my patients are benefited. So the message is conscious about eating, exercise, sexual life, seasonal routine, periodic detoxification, understanding your mind-body constitution, Dhairya Atmadi Vijnanam, starting a spiritual life, spiritual inquiry, follow a master, and attain liberation at the last. Thank you very much. Thanks for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahadevan, for your very valuable practical advice. I was really moved by what you talked about ghee. I remember my grandmother and my mother always used to insist that we should take ghee with lunch every day. But within modern practices, the dietitians, some of them were saying that ghee is like oil, you should avoid oil and so on and so forth. I think from today onwards, thanks to you, I will take ghee every day with no feeling of guilt or no feeling of fear. Because we have said...
In moderate doses.
Moderate, of course, you are a doctor. So I think you had a lot of good takeaways from all of us. Thank you very much for sharing your wisdom. We once again request all of you who have joined today to buy the book and benefit from the practical, inspiring messages at the end of the first 10 chapters. The book is available on Amazon globally, including India, Flipkart, and the publisher Notion Press. We can now have a few questions from the audience. I request Group Captain Vijay Kumar to take over from me. Group Captain.
Thank you, sir. It's a quite inspiring evening. When you remember ghee, I was posted in Jodhpur, where I was invited by one of the Jodhpuri to their house. The first thing they served me is a bowl full of rice with plenty of ghee, so you pour that and some sugar. I said, my God, that time we learned, and as Mr. Masin, we got a number of questions, and I'm happy to share with you. Over 950 viewers are watching this program live on our various social media platforms. That clearly shows the interest in the theme, and also the speakers who have spoken this evening, and the cause of Mr. Giri. Now, we have got a number of questions, and let me share the first question addressed to Mr. Seshasayee. This will come from Mr. Krish, is a management consultant. What do you want to know, sir? There is a perception today that corporate push their employees to maximize profits and meet market expectations. This affects their health, and your views and advice, please.
Well, I think this is a classic conflict between the short-term interests and the long-term interests. Every activity, whether it's in business or whether it is in a family context, there is something which we want to achieve in the short term. In a business context, it's about short-term profits. The long term is to have your customers and your employees, all the stakeholders, to remain committed to the organization, to give the best. for a collective cause, which is the business cause. So a good enlightened management will definitely strike a balance, and increasingly, not merely the exemplars. The exemplars have always done this in business, but increasingly, even regulation is moving towards recognizing the fact that you need to have the right kind of balance. In fact, in recent times, I have found that ESG, environment, safety, and governance, which are all long-term goals, are getting to be very much a part of the individual targets in business. No CEO today can avoid the ESG targets. So I think the balance is certainly getting now better established.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Here is a question addressed to Dr. Mahadevan. There are two questions, in fact. I'll put both the things. The first question is from Ms. Parvati from Texas, USA. What she wants to know is what can be done to make Ayurveda accessible to many more people in the world? Because this is one thing which is not reached to everyone. The second question is again, Mr. Sundar Rajan from YouTube viewer from Pondicherry. So there is a saying that we should take short meals at regular intervals over a period of every day. But whereas you mentioned you should take 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, lunch being every one dinner. So what is actually we should follow? So we get so many inputs like this, multiple meals, short meals. What do you think is the right advice in terms of meal? I know many people say we should finish your dinner before 7 o'clock because you digest, which you also mentioned. Your view on multiple short meals or 3 meals a day?
Previously, there were only 2 meals, Madhyanam and 11 o'clock they take meals, and after the sunset they take. Now breakfast, lunch, and dinner has become the routine. Especially in some conditions like diabetes, metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, small frequent meals is not a problem because it is advisable because sudden rise of postprandial elevation of sugar is prevented. That is accepted. Ayurveda is spreading. We do a lot of work. The quality of education has improved. People like Darshan Shankarji are doing great contribution to Ayurveda. Things in the last 5 years to 7 years have changed. Within another 10 years, it will become almost popular. And it is even I have visited many countries. Ayurvedam is liked by many people. People from so many countries come here. So Ayurveda is gaining popularity. It is incorrect to say that it's not gaining popularity. When my grandfather practiced Ayurveda, that style has completely changed and it's becoming popular because some of the new books written by Western authors for Western people are coming. Translations are coming. You don't have to depend on Sanskrit. If you know Sanskrit, Sanskrit is good. But other things are coming. Things are improving, sir.
Again, doctor, another question. There's a lot of people addressing question to you only today because they're very concerned about their health. I think we have done something good this evening to make the people really realize. Here's a question from Mr. Raghu Aram from Cochin. What he wants to know, he says a lot of people advise you must do a fasting once in a week, and he has seen even his mother used to do that. And do you think the fasting is a very important one? Second thing, you also want to know, there's a lot of people eating a lot of fresh salads and more, maybe it's a Western culture, Indian culture, uncooked food. What's your view on these two aspects, which a lot of youngsters, millennials follow these days, at least?
Based on Vada, Pitta, Kapha, Kapha people can fast, Pitta cannot fast, Vada cannot fast. The Kapha people who have tolerance, they can fast. So that is not a problem. What was the second question?
Is the intermediate fasting which you should be doing, or the fresh, which you
vegetables. Even
yes.
Pitta Prakriti, Vada Pittottare, Kaphe Mande. Pitta Prakriti, where Agni Balam is strong, salads can be taken. Shaladaha is a Sanskrit word, it becomes salad. Soupaha is a Sanskrit word, it becomes soup. So these things are there in salad references in Bhojana Kutugalam. There are references about salads and all. Pitta Prakritis can take. So Hidahidatve Sadi Egandiniyamaha Anishidaga. We cannot say one thing is always good for everybody at all the time. So you should consult a doctor, Ayurveda Vaidya, to understand your Prakriti, and based on his advice, and you can do, or you should read a basic book on Ayurveda.
Excellent, sir. Here, question from Ms. Akshaya to Professor Darshan Shankar, sir. What's the future of integrated healthcare system, and how do we achieve integration of Ayurveda and biosciences?
I mean, we are already seeing from health-seeking behavior all over the world that around 40 to 70% of people all over the world exercise plural choices in seeking, solutions to their health needs. And so you are already seeing some form of integrative health behavior of millions and millions of citizens. The problem is that in the formal schools of medicine and in the health services, we have got the silos. Now if you have an emergency or if you have an acute problem, probably you need single molecule, single targets. Modern medicine is the best. Allopathic medicine is the best because it has single molecule, single targets which work very well on acute and emergency conditions. But if you have any complex problem, then probably, all what we call non-communicable diseases, then the experience is, and you can see centers of Ayurveda all over the country, all over the world. People are coming there for those kinds of chronic, complex conditions. Even for infectious conditions, we are seeing that in many infectious conditions, Ayurveda works. So, integrative health care is the future of medicine. But to do proper integration, you need to not mix up things arbitrarily. Like we say in Hindi, make a khichdi. You need to look at disciplines of the kind that are now emerging. Disciplines like Ayurveda biology, which is what our university is engaged in, which gives you a very systematic way of understanding both Ayurveda and biology, which, as I mentioned in my talk, are both about biological processes of change. But one is viewing the body at a systemic level, at the functional level that Mahadevan talked about, kapha, vata, pitta, anabolic activities, catabolic activities, and so on and so forth. The other is looking at the same biological change at a molecular level. Now, if you have a molecular level of understanding, you cannot extrapolate it to a whole systems level. And so, therefore, you need both these. And integrative health sciences is, in fact, going to be the future of even health sciences. That's my view.
Thank you, sir. I think we'll take two last questions because we got 3-4 minutes to go. And this is a question which I thought it has come. That is, how effective is Ayurveda in preventing and managing COVID-19 infection? This is one question. There's also another question addressed to you in the chat box from Mr. Viswanathan. I'll read out a question. You can answer both together, sir. Dr. Mahadevan, this is the question to Professor Shankar is, in China, traditional Chinese medicines is taught for a year as a part of the regular MBBS course. Do you think inclusion of Ayurveda as a year-long subject in the MBBS course in India will make Ayurveda more acceptable, particularly to the Western medicine practitioners and in general to the general public? So, Mr. Shankar, thereafter I'll request Mahadevan to also answer on COVID. What you say?
So I think the COVID question will be better answered by Dr. Mahadevan because he actually deals with mild, moderate, and even complex post-COVID conditions. On the earlier question, it's a very relevant question, and I must inform the person who has asked the question that at this moment, I happen to be a member of a very important high-level committee in the Niti Aayog, And the subject that we are examining, and we have in this committee people from all the different medical streams and regulatory bodies, the chairman of the National Health Commission, the CCIM, and so on and so forth. And this is exactly the question we are looking at. We are trying to see how you can bring Ayurveda biology into A, the high school curriculum, B, there will be modules on Ayurveda biology in the NEET syllabus to enter any medical stream. And 3, irrespective of which stream you enter, there will be a foundation course common to all streams, which will make medical practitioners familiar with the basic principles underlying different streams of medicine. So this is very much happening, and we should expect right now from even 2021 and 21-22 changes to take place. The government of India appears to be committed to bringing in some form of integrative medicine into medical curriculums of all streams.
Coming
Yeah.
to the COVID,
Yes.
we managed the COVID in the 10 to 15 villages, and in an allopathic hospital, one floor was allocated for us to manage COVID as per Ayurvedic protocol. When oxygen saturation up to 85 and interleukins are very high and D-dimer variations are very high, when there is a risk for high thrombosis, CT was taken to all the cases. All other cases responded very well and they became negative clinically and subjectively. And we managed more than 200 to 300 cases. When the risk level was very high because of hesitancy, we referred to the modern sector and they managed it well. So mild to moderate cases, including few severe cases, Ayurveda has definitely responded very well. And now we are seeing in our hospital post-viral complications, post-viral neuralgia, post-viral myalgia, residual pneumonitis, lung disease, lung fibrosis, which we treat by Ayurvedic principle, Vada Kafadushti, Aganduka Jara, all these things. And the response is very, very good and highly promising.
Thank you, sir. Maybe one last clarification somebody wants to know is people should continue to take that Kapasarikudinir, which is so popular in Chennai now.
Randomly taking Kapasarikudinir is not correct. Based on the Avastha, medicine has to be changed. It is not a single medicine for single disease. Based on the Avastham Prapya Nirdishtam. So based on the Avastha, stages of disease, you may have to change. Kapha is one of the medicines that is useful in certain stages of disease.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. If you want to know more details, I think you must visit Dr. Mahadevan. All treatment and advice cannot be given one evening, just an hour. We have come to the end of the session. Now, I'll request Mr. N.S. Shivaraman, Vice President, Special Project retired and from Larsen to Road to deliver a formal vote of thanks. Before the thing, Mr. Shivaraman, thank you so much for taking the program through so beautifully, as usual, with your imitable style of Master of Ceremony. Over to you, Mr. Shivaraman, for delivering the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Group Captain Vijay Kumar. We are indeed grateful to Mr. Seshasayee, Professor Darshan, Shankar, and Dr. Mahadevan for readily agreeing to share their advice to all of us this evening. There have been quite a few useful takeaways from their speeches today. We are grateful to Dr. Kamala Viswanathan for compiling this wonderful book from the writings from Giri through Mrs. Malini Nair. Last but not the least, a big thank you to Group Captain Vijay Kumar and his team at MMA, and above all the invitees who are now present for this book launching function. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And as usual, MMA completes the programs well on time, maybe 2 minutes late, but I think that's acceptable. Thank you very much. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.